And we're back. Hey, if you're watching this after the live stream, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment on one of these videos or something. Let me know in the Discord if there's a question you got about guitars, music, streaming. If you want to answer something I talked about on here, let me know. I'm always hoping people get out there and have a conversation with me about whatever you want, really. But those are the ones I actually can talk about, you know. So we'll see what everybody wants to say. We'll see. We got Reed saying howdy Pat. What's going on, Reed? Welcome back to the show. Man, I'm excited about something. Let me explain. I'm excited. I have a show after this, right? And we're gonna be doing a guitar smashing experience like I usually do. And I got to tell you, dude, this is gonna be an absolutely diabolical show. It's gonna be so good. I'm so excited. I'm super pumped. So we got China Store, we got Zoe. Oh, we got some cool people. I'm doing much better today. Yeah, yesterday I was just. Sometimes you'd have a bad day and it's not working out. So yeah, I'm very bad at not being emotional about certain things. So yeah, that's why I cut the show early. I was like, well, it's not going out so well, so I'll figure it out. But I decided I needed a different point of view on the show a little bit, which is I do want to talk to people. I want it to be successful, but at the same time, you can't be like upset if it's not successful. You know what I mean? I mean, you can feel things, but it's not a big thing here. Reed says, "Happy Veterans Day to everyone in here. Anyone in here? Well, if anyone's a veteran here, I'll be shocked. But if you are, hey, cool. Thanks for being a vet." Zoe says, "It's good to feel. It's not okay to have bad days." I mean, it's always you should never apologize for feeling, in my opinion. But how you react, how like somebody said recently to somebody else. They were talking about self-control, and they were like, "You're not a dog, are you? Like you can control yourself." And I was like, "Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not human. Maybe I am a dog." So, but I thought that was pretty funny how that goes. But yeah, for those of you who are watching the show, we got a show after this at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so in about 2 hours. Dude, I am so excited for this show. Can I spoil it for you guys if you haven't seen it yet? We're gonna be doing a save or smash guitar. We're going to have two goals. We're going to have smash the guitar. We're going to have save the guitar. Because you know how people complain about that stuff. People go crazy. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see people complain about it. And I have a trick up my sleeve. So don't worry. No one's going to be disappointed. Literally, no one is going to be upset. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Yeah, fascinating, isn't it? But anyways, if you guys got questions about guitar, music, streaming, we can talk about it. I was watching Philip McKnight, who is, again, one of the people that I greatly respect out there in the reality and YouTube land and stuff like that. But he put out a video recently of him talking about counterfeits, and I was like, oh, vindicated, dude, vindicated. Absolutely. So, oh, yeah. Why would I be upset? There's a hole in this guitar. It's already broken. That'll be really funny. So go ahead, everybody, tap that screen. Let's see what we can do. We're going to do a ritual as best as we can. You guys, I want you to spam the chat with whatever subject you like, guitars, music, streaming. Say something you want to say in the chat, because what that does is it tricks the algorithm into getting more people in here. I was watching a video of somebody with a terrible prompt. And I noticed that a lot of people were talking, but the viewer, the person who was in the video wasn't listening. And I was like, oh, he's tricking people. He's just tricking people into talking in the chat, and he just ignores them. Isn't that weird? So I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to do is have people in the chat just say some crazy stuff, have a good time. And then when we get some people with questions about guitar, music, streaming, stuff like that, then obviously the show will be able to continue a little bit more. But until then, I'm going to keep talking about whatever I need to talk about. But I am really excited to see that everybody is enjoying the show as much as they can, despite the limitations. And another thing, Reed, you're a big fan of the song Featherweight. I'm finished with the recording of Featherweight. I got it re-recorded for the next album, so I'm going to be working on the other one. So Zachary says they're a myth. What's a myth? What are you talking about? What you talking about? Reed says, how do you tune a guitar? That's a good one. I've actually met people who play guitar for several months and years. They don't keep their guitars in tune, and it blows me away. Like, I get it if it goes out of tune and you're not super worried about it, and you're like, all right, I'll tune up. But I know somebody, like, this is not a joke. I remember I used to there was a guy I wanted to be in a band with, and I worked with him. Very nice guy, super cool guy, great singer, great songwriter. But he had a lot of weird, like, I don't know what I'm doing quirks. I remember one time we went to a guitar store, and we were sitting down, and I was trying out an Explorer, and I was like, oh, this is actually a really nice Explorer. I really enjoyed it. Thought about buying it. But he came in with me, and he sat down, and he's playing the Explorer first, and it was like wildly out of tune. Wildly out of tune. I mean, absolutely insane. And he's like trying to play it, and I was like, what are you doing? Like, are you going to tune up? And he goes, I never forget what he said. He said, what is this, Carnegie Hall? What is this, the Royal Albert Hall? What are you talking about? And I was like, you're just not going to tune it normally? What are you, crazy? Oh, insane. We got Patrick Youngblood. Hey, I like your first name. Can you play Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses? Let me check. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. It says no music requests. Sorry, buddy. We're going to be talking about guitar, music, and streaming if you got a question. But if it's a request, sorry, I can't do it for you. Can't play any music on this one, even if it's a cover. Yeah, if I even sing the lyrics to the song, YouTube will demonetize the video. Isn't that crazy? So sorry about that. Let's see here. Zoe says, my grandfather was a piano tuner, and people tried to pay him hundreds to tune their guitars because that's what they were charged for piano tuning. No way! Insane. I can't believe it. You know what's funny? If you ever want to buy a piano, if you go to Craigslist or if you go to like Facebook Marketplace and you type in pianos, you'll see a lot of them for free. Like, not a joke. You can just get a free piano. And the reason they're free is because they're impossible to move without like a truck and having like, 3 or 4 like very strong people. So, you get a piano, you're pretty much stuck with it. So you better get a good deal on that. It's pretty funny how that works. So it's absolutely insane. We got Casey. He says, do you gig bars, weddings, etc.? No, I don't do any live gigs anymore. I just do live streaming now. I used to play gigs in the Washington, D.C. area. I got to play on the radio. That was pretty fun. Played at the National in Richmond, Virginia, which was a pretty nice place. But they don't pay as well as live streaming goes. You can make like 4 figures every month, like just playing music on here. If you can believe it, yeah, I make a pretty modest living on live streaming. So if you're trying to play gigs still, like, hey, proud of you, but I don't have to share the money. I don't have to split it. I don't have to drive to the place. I don't have to bring my equipment. Nothing. Save all the money I can. It's fantastic, dude. Like, if you're trying to play music now, obviously playing a live gig is great. But if you can afford to just play in your house and play on live stream, dude, it's so much easier. I highly recommend it. Let me know if you got questions about streaming. Yeah, I'm answering questions about guitar, music, streaming, anything like that. So really, really enjoy it. Kurt says, Pat, opinions on grilled cheese. I have a T-shirt that says grilled cheese upstairs, actually. So, dude, grilled cheese is pretty good. It's a fantastic meal. But I'll let you know this. If you add anything besides cheese to it, if you add ham, turkey, whatever, it's no longer grilled cheese. It is a melt. Isn't that weird? It's a patty melt or something like that. China Store says, I'm jealous of that shirt. Oh, the grilled cheese one? Yeah, that one's fun. It's too bad there's a bunch of like holes in it. I don't know. I got it used, and it was too perfect not to pass up. But I wish it didn't have like a ton of holes. It looks like I got shot with like a BB gun. So, I don't know. Maybe the guy's belly button before me was huge, and he just kept wearing holes in the shirt. I don't know. But it's pretty funny. But yeah, let me know if you guys got questions, guitar, music, streaming. I mean, you can ask me anything, but those are the questions I could actually answer. Because people are going to ask me like ridiculous questions all day, but I won't be able to answer them. Yeah, but if you guys got questions about it, let me know. So, see, here we go. Lego. If you're having a good time, if you think that I'm a trans man, I got good news and bad news for you. The good news is that you have no need for glasses, but the bad news is that I'm not. You can see that I'm just some regular guy. But I know that there's a lot of people out there that try to make that joke, but it's really funny because it's like, if you're out there going to chat rooms that are about music and you're like concerned about their genitals and stuff, that says more about you than me, pal. I don't know. I don't know if that's something that bothers you, but I usually just talk to people about certain topics, like for example the ones that are up there. So, but hey, more power to you. Go ahead, find someone who will listen to you. You can ask your mom if you want to. It's because it's an easy target. There's not many people that are gay out there. I mean, there are obviously in the world. But, like, the odds of you finding an actual gay person, what is that? What is the percentage of the population that's gay? It's like 10%, a little bit more, 15%. So what they're doing is they're trying to be cruel to anybody that they want to. But it's like, I mean, if you know gay people, if you have friends that are trans, if you have friends that are out there that are bisexual, whatever they are, you realize that there's a lot more people that are of whatever sexuality they feel than there are bigots. There are people out there that are just weird and they're concerned about that stuff. So it's really weird. So, all right, what else we got here? I have no idea. See, I told you there's people out there going to ask me like really weird questions and I have no idea. Yeah, isn't that weird? Let me flip it though. Let me flip it. If I went to their stream and started talking about something that was unrelated to the stream, everybody would be like, "What are you doing here? You're so weird. Get out of here." So I don't understand what they're thinking. Dude, hecklers are like the saddest people in the world. They get no attention normally, so what they do is they have to try and steal it from somebody else. It's the saddest thing in the world. I don't really feel bad for them because, they kind of just need to get kicked out. But they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out someday. So, what else we got here? We got Anthony who says, what combo amp under $700 would you recommend to get a Metallica type sound? A 5150 combo? Dude, I actually own one. I have a 5150 combo in the other room. They're fantastic. I really like them. If you play your cards right, you can get them for like $450. Dude, save yourself some money. Get yourself a couple pedals. I think they're excellent. The 5150 combo that Fender's been putting out there is an incredible amp. For the money, dude, the Marshall DSL is actually pretty good for the money too. I think the 5150 is the better buy. I think it's fantastic. Yeah, dude, I literally just in the other room. I'm just not going to grab it. They're pretty light, too. I mean, considering that the AC-15, AC-30, those are pretty heavy. So if you get a 5150, dude, crazy good. Love those things. We got Dominic says, how would you play a G7 altered chord? Ooh, I don't know. I play music people want to listen to. I don't usually learn my music theory as well as the next guy. I usually write the music. You guys try to learn off the sheet paper. No offense. So I know that. I like it when people come in here and they're like trying to quiz me on stuff like that. I get it. It says, ask me anything. Guitar, music, streaming. But like, it's like when somebody asks a math question to a math professor, they're like, I'm not here to do math for you. I'm here to explain concepts and things like that. So yeah, I'm a power chord only guy. Sorry, Chief. Yeah, I don't know what a G7, isn't that an airplane? So, but let me see here. Kurt says, hey Pat, who's your big three of music? I don't know if I have a big three. I have a bunch of artists that I really enjoy. Who's your big three? Hold on, real quick. Before I say anything, what's your guys' favorite musicians? Everybody got a favorite band? Who's your favorite musicians? I want to see out there. Let's see what we got. Yeah, Blake says, do you like C sharp standard and drop D? For drop B? It's whatever the song needs, man. It's whatever the song needs. We got Reed, he says, Metallica, Nirvana. Great. China versus Green Day, we talked about that. Blake's Nirvana, my two. Dominic says, play a power chord song in the key of D. Hey, Chief, I know you're having trouble reading, but I can't read sheet music, but you can't read. No music requests. I can't play anything, dude. Not on this show. Sorry, man. Nothing like that. I know I'm holding a guitar, but that's if I want to give an example of something. So, yeah, it's for me, not you. So, no music requests. Sorry, buddy. Let's see. We got Ethan who says Beatles, Alice in Chains, Nirvana, Demos era. Really? Nothing later? Just the boombox recordings? You'll be fine. I like the early songs. I like the writing process Kurt did. I enjoy them, but at the same time I can understand you can like all of it. It's a pretty thing. Dominic says play anything. Oh, I got one for you. Here, I'll play a song for you. Do you know the song Bye Bye? Bye Bye. Bye Bye. He's like, whoa, I can't talk anymore. What we got? We got Colt. Hey, what's up, buddy? Hey, Pat, thoughts on Grey Haven? Never heard of them. Have you heard of Deaf Heaven? Deaf Heaven's sick, dude. I've never heard of Grey Haven, though. What kind of music are they? Okay, hold on. Let me change the title real quick. I want to see what everybody's. Hold on. Here we go. Least favorite band. Nothing brings people together than group hate. Tell me who your least favorite band is. I want to see what everybody's got out there. There we go. So some people should pop up there. Colt says, check them out. They're middle. I usually check out bands of people, like, if you make me a playlist or something like that, I'll check it out. But there's so many people out there that just like ask me to listen to bands and stuff, and I never have enough time. I'm too busy writing music right now and recording it. So let's see. We got Ethan says, I love every era of Nirvana, but right now I can't stop listening to the Lights Out box set. Dude, I love that box set. I have it in the other room. It's fantastic. Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of those immature teenager, what are they called? Obnoxious. All the songs where Kurt's being obnoxious, I actually don't like. Anything where he's just being gross and weird, I'm like, nah, I'm okay. I don't really want to listen to this. And I'm really glad he kind of grew out of it, to be honest. Really glad he got out of it. Kurt says the Beach Boys annoy you. What? Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be great? I can't sing the rest of that. I'll probably get in trouble. Dude, yeah, Beach Boys, they have a couple great songs I really enjoy. I really like Good Vibrations, half of the song. The part that's like really upbeat is good, but the first part is just, oh, it's so beautiful. Oh, it's so beautiful. Dude, it's so good. I can't sing it on the show, but dude, it's so good. If you want to listen to one of my favorite songs that changes in a weird way that I don't like as much, Good Vibrations. I was actually writing a song earlier today, and I was like, I don't like how the second half doesn't really match the first half, so I decided to split the songs apart. So I'll probably have 2 extra songs on the new record. Not the acoustic one, the next record after that. So, anybody got a least favorite band? We said Beach Boys. And they said Milli Vanilli. Really? Hanson, Weird Al. Oh, you don't like Weird Al? I don't know, man. I like Weird Al. Weird Al's pretty good. I could see the Hanson. I could get it, though. It's kind of goofy. Reed has a question. How do you write songs? How do you write songs? Well, what I typically do is I sit down and I have a riff. I start messing around. I try not to think about it too much. I let just like my ear. It's really weird. My ear and my hands work independently. So I'll give you an example. I'm going to play something that's not copyrighted. It's just something that's unreleased. So I'll be like. I'll be like, that sounds cool. I like that. What's that? And then I'll usually hum along to it. I'll be like. You know what I mean? I'll just kind of mumble along until I find a rhythm and like a nice melody to it. And then I'll move on to it. And sometimes I'll kind of get to a point where it stops. I'm like, oh, I don't know what else to add. And then I'll put it in my pocket and I'll record it and I'll keep it for later. But I was working on that earlier today, and I have some good ideas with it. But that's typically what I do. I work music, guitar, and if I let my hands kind of listen to it. Because like I don't actively think, okay, I'm going to play something in this key. I want this rhythm. I want this. I just kind of do it. And then once I play something, I decide if I like it enough to develop it. Because, you think of a whole bunch of different bands and things like that. You listen to, so you get inspiration. You write a bunch of different things, you get inspiration, but you're not sure. So you got to figure out what you really, really like. So Reed says, Reed, you don't have to repeat that. I think we got it the first time. Let's see here. All right. Sandy says, sounds like Sleep Token. You think so? Why is Sleep Token a meme band? It's like Polyphia. Every time I see somebody that's like trying to be obnoxious or something, they'll like pop in. It's either Dragon Force, Sleep Token, or Polyphia. Those are like 3 of the most memed on bands. Everybody just kind of just goes into it, and they're like, "Ha, I'm gonna bring up this band, and they're gonna like it." It's like how Freebird used to be a thing. People used to yell Freebird at every show. Now it's just yell one of those 3 bands, and then people just go crazy on it. Kurt says, "Pat, ever heard of Everclear?" Oh yeah, dude, Everclear rules. Big fan of Everclear's. What was that record that they put out? They had Father of Mine. They had Wonderful. Oh man, so many great songs. Everclear. We should add those to the show. Santa Monica, really good stuff. Santa Monica. I know how to play Santa Monica. I should probably add that to the show. Probably do it. We got Cosmic. Just Cosmic says, "What you know about Avenged Sevenfold?" I know I don't like them that much. I know that there's a lot of fans, and there's a lot of people that love Sinister Gates in the gang, but I never really got into them, man. But I'll tell you what, I'm happy you found a band you love. I'm a big Nirvana guy, but never really got into Avenged Sevenfold. But I'm glad you found something. I just never really got into them. You know what I mean? It's like when somebody says they're really into seafood. I like seafood. Seafood's great. Some people don't love seafood. I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's pretty dang good. Reed says, "No requests." That's right, folks. Sorry, no music requests. I can't do it. Can't do it. Nothing like that. Zoe says, "Have you ever heard of Ashes of Billy?" No, never heard of them. They're a grunge/rock band, and I really like them. Make me a playlist. If you're on the Discord, you can send it to me, or you can leave in a comment or something like that. I will check it out. Yeah, let me check it out. Alistair says, "Yes, request." What does that mean? Cosmic says, "A more unknown song is Smoke and Light by Oil City." Are you guys just saying songs and bands? What are you talking about? What are you guys telling me what your least favorite band is? That's what I got the sign up there. Kurt says, "The first metal song I heard was Bounce by System of a Down." Pogo? Pogo, 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 bounce. Yeah, you guys are just saying random stuff. I can tell. Yeah. Yeah, Zoe says, "I'm not on Discord, but I'll try to get it to you." All right, yeah, you can find a way. You know there was ways to contact me. There's TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, all that stuff. You let me know. Just says, "Oh, that's what that's for?" What are you talking about? What's what? What's what for? Anytime you guys say stuff like that, it's like an open-ended response. Like, that's what it is. I'm like, I don't know which it is. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Let's see here. Ethan says, "In your opinion," good start, "has there been any new music bands like post-2000?" That's pretty new. 25 years. "That has the magic of older music?" Yeah. I mean, let's shorten that down a little bit, because I think there's plenty of bands. Like Arctic Monkeys in the late 2000s, early 2010s, and mid-2010s. They really captured a lot of rock. And then you have, for example, Phoebe Bridgers. Phoebe Bridgers was really good. But as far as capturing the old rock sound, I mean, it's kind of a catch-22. There's so much music going on right now. It's really hard for like one band to really just conquer the earth. But there's a lot of smaller bands that a lot of fans and groups really like. Like, for example, there's been so many people in the chat recently, just now, even this show, that are asking me, do I like this band? Do I like that band? Even my own band. Like, I have a nice little following, and I'm really happy about that. But it's like, it's so fractured. It's very difficult to get everything going. So, Z-Corp, no music requests, man. Sorry to tell you that. Thank you for the tenor. I appreciate it, but we're not playing random songs. It even says no music on there. Don't know what you thought. Sorry, dude. But anyways, back to the question. As far as new bands and stuff like that, I think after 2016, maybe 2018. So let's go 2018. After 2018, after COVID hit, it's been really, really hard for bands to promote themselves offline. And it's been really, really difficult for bands, even famous ones, to let people know about newly released music and a lot of different genres out there. Everything's kind of just leveling out. You know what I mean? So, like, for example, Greta Van Fleet, they are like essentially a Led Zeppelin cover band. They were huge. Even they are not having like a great time as far as like releasing new music and stuff like that. So it's pretty terrible. But there's so much new music out there. You could throw a rock and hit 55 bands easily. You could hit so many bands. There's a lot of great music out there. It's just hard to find it because everybody's online. It's just like a huge, it's like a giant ant pile. Just let everybody, all these little things are just going all over the place. So, yeah, sorry to hear that. But again, thank you, Z-Corp. But hey, if you show up at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that's when I'm playing music. So, but yeah, sorry, no music. I don't even know what who that band is. That a band or is that a song? We got Joanne who says, I like Temptations, Marvin Gaye, all the oldies. You're 77 all the way back. A lot of romantic songs. Bring back wonderful memories. Dude, there's a lot of bands even like that. Like I was listening to, Ginger Root? There's a band called Ginger Root. And they play a lot of 70s kind of like funk disco kind of stuff. And it's really fun. It's all out there. I keep saying that right now there's no era. It's just every era all the time. That's exactly what's going on. Every era, any era you want to listen to. I guarantee you. You're trying to listen to like 1940s swing jazz kind of stuff. Like cool jazz. It's out there. There's clubs. There's people that are going nuts. You want to listen to grunge? It's out there. You want to listen to like 80s hair metal? It's out there. You just got to look for it. You can't be expected to be given to you. It's very bizarre. So let's see here. We got Just Cosmic saying, I'm more of a fan of Chris Stapleton, Stevie Ray Vaughan. There you go. I mean, that stuff's out there too. A lot of great stuff. Let's see here. Z-Corp says, my great-great-grandpa liked the song My Darling Clementine, old song for the cowboy days. Oh, you mean like Oh, My Darling? I don't know how to play that. I think there's a cartoon you can watch, right? There's some sort of blue hound. Knows how to play that. Probably better than me, man. Unglut says, I can't even find a keyboard player. Oof. Dude, there's tons of keyboard players out there. Yeah, synth players and stuff like that. They're out there. A lot of jazz clubs. A lot of people that play jazz. A lot of hope core, as they call it, which I think is a funny name for just like, what do they call that? Fusion, jazz fusion. They're out there, dude. They're all over the place. I see them all over the place. So, I have no idea. All right. Need more jammy ones. I should find a local jazz club. Dude, I'm sure there's people out there. I'm sure you'll find more online. I was talking about this earlier. There's not as many people playing live anymore. They're all mostly online, at least that I know. So, it's pretty crazy. Space funk. There you go. What do we got here? Ethan says, everything mainstream feels so corporate and commercial. I mean, yeah, they have to be. They have to apply themselves to the most general audience in a way that is just like unbelievable these days. Because the general audience isn't paying attention to them. They're getting given so much things in front of their face that they're not paying attention to what people are advertising. They're paying attention to what is put in front of their face outside of advertising. Does that make sense? So, for example, I don't have a corporate sponsor. I don't have an agent or anything like that. I'm just on YouTube talking about whatever I want to, and there's plenty of people in here just hanging out with me. You know what I mean? But it's really weird how that goes. Yeah, I'm getting. Let me put it this way: if you'd have talked to somebody 20 years ago and said, "Hey, how do I get my music out there? How do I play music?" You have to play shows. You could make something for YouTube, but there was no streaming. That just didn't exist in a mainstream format. So the closest thing I would be compared to would be like Wayne's World. You know what I mean? Like it's just there was nothing out there like it. Now you can just be in like 100,000. I have 100,000 followers over all of my not streaming platforms, all over my social media. That's more than most cable access TV shows back in the day. Isn't that crazy? So, and I didn't have to pay a dime. It's pretty funny how that works. All right, so what do we got here? We got Neo, who says, don't really know where else to share this. Ooh, I don't know if that's a good start. Oh, you're sharing. You're just talking about. I see what you're doing. Okay. Well, glad you got something out there. But, wait a second. Can anyone read this? I haven't seen at the top of the screen. What is your least favorite band? I thought that would get people talking about that. People are just kind of talking about music in general. I think it's pretty funny. I usually don't like it when people kind of have like dead end comments like that. I usually like the ones that are more interactive. So, Zoe says we can't read, only type. That's starting to make more sense every second. Ethan says Radiohead. You don't like Radiohead, really? Brave take. I'll tell you what, though. I salute your honesty. It's very brave to say that, dude. Let's see. We got Jude who says Fish fans are my least favorite fans. I went to a funk festival, and I thought it was gonna be so good. And it turned out it wasn't a funk festival. It was a jam band festival, and I hated it. It was just constant guitar solos. And you think me being a guitar player, playing music and stuff like that, you think I would love that? Nope. I got to have structure, man. I got to have something nice and familiar, repeat it a couple times, then go back to another song. I don't like it when the same riff is played for 35 minutes. Oh, it gets so old. Even though you're playing something different every couple seconds, it's just, I need something a little more hooky, you know? I need something a little repetitive to get stuck in my head and sing along to. So, yeah, I never really got into jam bands, so I never got into Fish. So, or like Grateful Dead. There's a couple songs from Grateful Dead that are good, but never really got into them. Like, I'd never buy a T-shirt. I would give that T-shirt away if somebody gave it to me. So, Travis says, I hear so many good things, but can't get into The Cure. Really? Okay, The Cure's got a couple good songs. They got a couple great songs. I know somebody that's like a super fan of The Cure. Yeah, but I'll tell you this. Not many people, like, dive deep into The Cure. They like the specific songs, the singles. So, like, unlike Led Zeppelin or Black Sabbath or, like, Michael Jackson, where they have, like, multiple strings of hits, it's, or, like, people listen to the whole albums. I don't really know a lot of people listen to the whole album or any album from The Cure. But I'm one of them. But I do like the songs, so. Oh, yeah. Should I make this bigger? Hold on. I think people are having a little confusion here. Let's make this a little bigger. Hold on. There we go. That should be a little bit easier. All right. Travis says, you knew a lot of Cure fans. What happened to them? They stopped being fans? We're not really taking music requests, man. Sorry. I know you're probably going to say, well, listen to it later. Nah, I'm okay. I appreciate you, but we're just kind of talking right now, and there's no way I'm going to remember it or write it down. Sorry. Ethan says, hot take. You don't like Stone Temple Pilots? Who likes Stone Temple Pilots? I'm a big fan. I like Stone Temple Pilots. A lot of people, well, I'll put it this way. One of the most controversial bands that I like would be like Smashing Pumpkins. Some people can't get into, or like, I agree on Oasis. I'm not a big Oasis fan. Not a big Oasis fan. Yeah, I could never get into them. I understand the appeal, but once you, like, listen to them in interviews or, like, hear them talk, you're just like, these guys suck. I hate them so much. Oh, you love Oasis. Ooh, no, man. Interesting. Yeah, I never got into them. They just seem like complete jackasses. Even if they write a couple songs where I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. Can't listen to them. Just refuse to. They're just so obnoxious, dude. Okay, yeah, let's get into Oasis. Who likes Oasis? If you like Oasis, say Oasis. If you don't like Oasis, say no Oasis. I want to see everybody in the chat. Ethan says, bro, separate the art from the artist. Fuck no, dude. I'm not going to do that. No, man. If you're a crazy, like, murderer, rapist or something, I'm not going to enjoy your band. Get out of here, dude. What are you, crazy? No, man. I can't do that. Liam's a complete piece of shit. I hate them. They're very obnoxious, especially with the fact that they kind of get in annoying, like, feuds with other bands. I don't care if they make a good song. I don't have to listen to them. That band sucks, dude. Yeah, we got more like Noasis. Yeah, we got some Noasis fans in here. We got Christopher. We got Kurt. Anybody else? Zoe says, I've never listened to Oasis. You should give them a shot. They got some good songs. The one song that everybody knows is Wonderwall. But I'll tell you what. I mean, all he had to do was just not be a jackass. That's all. And the other band members, they would kind of tolerate it and hang out with them. That's my big thing with Oasis. They're just really obnoxious. But, like, at the same time, it's like, it's their attitude about stuff. They're not really doing anything that wrong. You know what I mean? They're not, like, actually hurting people. They're just being obnoxious. And I'm like, I don't care about that. I don't want to watch that. Like, even Nirvana, my favorite band, in the early days, they were really obnoxious. I don't like that. But then, obviously, they, like, really came around on, like, different specific things. They were very, very supportive of a lot of people out there. They were very activist. And that's the thing, too. Even if they weren't, I still like the music a lot. But being a Nirvana fan means you kind of have to grow up a little bit. And the idea that they kind of grew up over only a couple of years. It was like, okay, cool. But then you look at the Sex Pistols, for example. They never really grew up. They completely. Oh, Johnny Rotten. Don't get me started on that guy. So, let's see. We got Christopher says Beatles comment kills Noasis. What do you mean? What are you talking about? It's just the '90s Beatles. I see what you're saying. I think that's kind of giving them a little too much credit. I think they like the Beatles. They try to sound like the Beatles, and I get it, but never got into them. So I think the Beatles were overrated when I was a kid, and then I grew up a little bit, and I went, oh, before the Beatles, if you listen to music and you go, that's what it was? You know what I mean? You look at Elvis and stuff, and it's still good, but then you go to the Beatles, and you're like, oh, everybody copied the Beatles after that. It was nuts. Kurt says, ever heard of Danny Sapko? Maybe. Is he a bass player? Hold on. So I'm going to look him up. Is he oh, yeah, he's annoying as shit, dude. I hate that guy. No, I'm kidding. He's a little obnoxious. I don't hate him, but I've definitely heard of him. I've seen him talk. Who's the other bass guy? Ooh, hold on. I usually don't like to talk ill of other musicians and YouTubers that are like in the same genre or in the same kind of vein. But I'll say this. Danny Sapko and the other guy, what's his name? The guy who talks like this and he plays bass. And like his videos have a lot of clickbait. What's that guy's name? He and Danny Sapko have a fake feud. What is it called? What's his name? Is it Stevie503? Yeah, let me look it up. Hold on. Let me explain something. Is it Stevie or Steve? Stevie503? Let me see if this is the guy. Well, whoever the guy is with the accent who plays bass, I don't know what his name is, but I don't like him specifically for one reason. I was watching some music, I was watching some videos, and like his thing popped up and it was like blah 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 clickbait. And I was like, okay, I'll check it out just for a second. So he said he was suing somebody or he's being sued by somebody. And I gave like 4 minutes to the video because I've never seen him before. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. So I checked it out. And then he like goes through this whole process of like, I never did this. I never did this. He's lying. He's a crazy man. And he does all these things. And at the very end, he goes, oh, I'm just kidding. Nah, none of that's real. So he wasted my time. I'll never forgive him for that. He made a troll video talking about another person, and I know that they're buddies, so I don't want to talk to them. I don't like them. I'm mad about that. I did nothing to deserve that. I gave him my precious time, and he wasted it just to play a prank on somebody else, I guess, or his viewers or something. So I fell for something that I had no way of not knowing. Unbelievable. Couldn't do it. So Rodrigo says, Kid Rock. My name is Kid. You know what I mean? Zoe says, I still think he's funny, but that's so fair. Are you talking about the same guy, the bass guy? I can't stand it. I can't stand it, dude. You know what's funny? Engagement baiter? Yeah, I hate that. Let me put it this way. One of my least desired outcomes of being a musician, and I've said this before on the show, so you'll probably hear me say it again. I don't want to be known as a guitar YouTuber, even though that's arguably what I'm doing on this channel. This is more just to answer questions for people that are asking me questions on my main show, and I don't have time because I'm playing music. But if somebody refers to me as a guitar YouTuber or guitar influencer, I'm like, no, dude, I don't want to do that. I just want to be a musician. And I just happen to have a YouTube channel alongside my main music stuff, just to answer questions, just to talk to people, just to have some sort of, like personal relationship with my fan base. Because it's like, you guys can't talk to me when I'm playing music. It's impossible. So, yeah, so I can't stand that. So if anybody talks about that, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that, dude. I just want to play music. So this is more of like, I do this for fun. This is the fun channel. I'm just answering questions. The other channel is the more serious, let's play music. Let's do that. Yeah, I really want to do, can you imagine, though? Like, let's say you were a writer. You wrote books. You have like 3, 7, 8 books, 9 books or something. And somebody calls you a literature YouTuber. You're going to be like, damn, I guess I'm not. Not that people call me a guitar influencer or a guitar YouTuber. I have been called it, but that's not what most people know me for. They know me. Thank God they know me for my music. So let's see here. Afternoon says, "Do you like Blink-182? If yes, what's your favorite song?" You should know that. You've been to my show. You've been to my show. Have you not seen my show? You know I like Blink-182. Adam's Song. We play Adam's Song on my main show. We do a little cover of it. I like the everything before Matt or is it Matt Skiba? Everything that they came out with is excellent. I don't think they have a bad album. No bad album. Spee says, "Can you play your riff?" Nope, I can't. No music request, dude. Sorry. Let's see here. We got Ethan who says, "You think it's possible to have another pop culture shift in the next 15 years or so? Especially considering the fact that everyone is wired to their phones." Well, here's my prediction. Now, I don't think anybody can predict the future, obviously. But let me explain this. I think people are getting sick of the fact that everything is splintered off in certain ways. So they're not able to see really, really good stuff unless they are really open-minded and they're always just attached to the internet, which ironically doesn't make sense. If you're always plugged in, how come you don't know all the most popular stuff? You know what I mean? You're only seeing what's popular to you. And I think what's going to happen is that there's going to be a big shift as far as the internet goes. I think that because AI and bots are going to get way out of they're going to get way out of hand. I mean, they're going to get crazy. And people are going to really shift towards paid, like walled gardens kind of thing. People are going to be subscription-based stuff is going to be permanent. Like you're going to pay money to go on Reddit, YouTube, all that stuff. All the free advertising stuff, all the stuff that you don't have to pay for, that's going to go away. And I'll explain why, in my opinion. So the idea is that because everything that's free is just going to have bots on it all the time, the only way you're going to be able to trust something is if you pay for it. So you know how newspapers were a thing? We're going to have to pay for certain websites to go to them. I've already started. I use YouTube Premium. I've been using that for 2 or 3 years. I also don't go to Reddit anymore. I've stopped going to Reddit for the most part. I only do it to promote my music and my shows and stuff. And the reason that is because everybody on there just acts like a complete crazy person or they're a bot. So I think what's going to happen is that people are going to start congregating to singular websites again, and they're going to have to pay for it, and then that means the bot traffic's going to go down. That means that the spam's going to go down. That means if your account gets banned, that's going to mean something. So people are going to be on their best behavior. And then that's going to make sure all the bands, all the movies, all the stuff really has to be good quality because there's only going to be a couple things that really have a hold on it. So we're going to go in a complete circle around from the subscription-based TV services to subscription-based internet services, but Facebook, YouTube, etc. You're going to have to pay for them. They've already started. Look at Patreon. Look at YouTube. They've had these things around for a while. So the short answer is yes. Long answer is it's going to take a couple of years, but we've done it to ourselves. Let's see here. We got Ashika who says, "Yo, what do you think about the youth being hella soft? Why do you think that's happening?" Ashika, how old are you? How old are you, buddy? Because I know that when I was a kid, people were pretty cruel to each other, and they did a bunch of crazy things, but it was just not online. But I think that a lot of kids progressive kind of nature kind of just goes to the youth. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to act like their parents. So you're about 20. You think your culture, your generation is soft? I think every generation is soft in the respect that they haven't grown to be distrustworthy and conservative like their parents or their grandparents, because they start to see, in my opinion, they start to see what works and what doesn't. And a lot of stuff in progressive culture is for the most part very ethical. They want to make sure everybody gets a slice of the pie, and it makes perfect sense. But then you start to see people abusing things, and you start to see people conserving things. And then you start to see, okay, I can see why my parents lock my doors at night. I can see why I have to shut my lights off because the power bill is expensive. Once you start paying for stuff, that's when you start to get really, you get a little bit more walled off. So when you say that the youth is soft, I think the youth is always going to be soft because that's how babies are. They don't know. Babies do the same thing over and over again. They get calluses. They bump their elbows. They do a bunch of stupid stuff. They get hurt. And then they realize that's what's going to happen. So, I mean, social media has obviously made things different, and it's made things worse too. But let me explain this. So when I was 16, I got my license immediately. Immediately. I went to a school that had a really good driver's ed program. So I was driving around. I was, meeting people at parties. I was going everywhere I could. I had to get gas money, so I got a job, stuff like that. I know people that are in their 20s that don't have a driver's license. And it's not because they're, like, afraid to. It's because they have nowhere to go. And everything they want to do is online. And it makes sense. If you were born into this generation much younger, you would act the same. So you just don't have the same opportunities they did, and we don't either. You know what I mean? It all makes sense. You would act the same way as them. So as far as them being soft, I mean, that's just how it is when you're a kid. I mean, also, I will say this, the difference in cruelty, like there's a trend going on right now called like flip the camera. Have you guys heard this? So what happens is that kids in like high school, right, or middle school, they'll be like, hey, yo, you, can you hold my camera? And they'll tell you to hold the camera so it's facing this way. And so when you start filming them like dancing or doing something, they flip the camera around to show the person filming, and then they'll just make fun of them to their face while it's on camera, which is like insane. But like that's not unique to this generation. When I was a kid, people pulled pranks. I was just talking about this before the show. People do that all the time. People used to prank each other. I'll give you an example. My brother, he was driving home from a party once. And while he was driving, he was like 4 blocks away. He wasn't too far away. But while he was driving, he's tired. It's late at night. Who knows what he was doing at the party. So he might have been driving in a way. I don't know what way, but who knows. So he was driving home. And somebody put on their high beams really bright, and he couldn't see. So he's like, what? I can't see. And then he hit somebody with his car. And he's like, oh! He strands on the brakes. Arr! He's like, oh, my God! So he has to get out of the car. He gets out of the car, and he looks. And then the car ahead of him speeds off with the bright light high beams. And it turns out he didn't hit anybody. He hit one of those, like, nativity scene, Christmas Jesus statue things made of plastic that light up. So somebody pranked him. So I'm not saying that, like, obviously that's the same as whatever I'm talking about before with the flip your camera thing. But what I'm saying is that this is an old problem in a new wrapper. It's the same shit, different plate. Like, kids are always going to be bullying each other. Kids are always going to be nasty because they don't know any better. And then also, younger people are going to have similar ideas about let's work together. And that makes sense. People want to work together. There's nothing wrong with that mentality. The problem is that as you get older, you start to be like, nah, this is my slice of the pie. I don't want you to have it. So we have this weird kind of mentality of, I wasn't like that when I was your age. I was a smart kid, and I didn't have my phone in my hand all the time. But now, like, look at my mom. She's in her almost 60. She's on her phone all the time. She's on Facebook every day. Not all the time, but you know what I mean. So it's like we're all susceptible to the same stuff. We're not special. There's nothing new under the sun. It's a different thing. So I wouldn't say that the youth is now like too woke or whatever. That's just how it's always been, baby. Look at the guys in the 70s smoking weed and stuff like that. The 60s. Now now those are the boomers. They're the people that are trying to outlaw all that stuff. Even though they're the ones that were doing it. Times they are a-changing. Oh, am I getting trouble for singing that? So, all right, what do we got here? Kurt, I was just on a rant. Kurt says, I keep seeing this guy on my For You page saying he's Jerry Cantrell's son, but if you check anywhere, it says he has no kids. So he's a liar. Yeah, dude, people lie all the time. People lie all the time on that stuff. And you know what sucks, too, is that nothing happens. Even if they get called out, nothing happens. Look at Kanye West. The guy is a musical mastermind, and he's been crazy for how long? Nothing happens. Nobody gets punished anymore for that stuff. I'll say that. They're like Teflon. You know, you wait like a couple months, the new thing pops out of the way, pushes the old controversy out, and the new one comes up. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. But Ashika says, I'm on a writing app called Rhymers Block. Okay. Let me see here. Where you share poems and raps. There are tons of kids who are being soft and just immature. What do you mean by being soft? There are tons of kids taking jokes out of context and BS. Well, hold on. Part of that could be the fact that you're on a writer's app. So you think about the type of person that would probably be writing poems and writing songs and lyrics and things like that. I'm sure if you went to like a mechanics app, you know what I mean? Hold on, let me do something here real quick. Let me look up like somebody that's famously very not artistic. Let me pull this up. If you go to those type of people, I'm sure the jokes are going to be completely inverted. Everyone's going to be like misogynistic and sexist and racist and insane. And, you know, they're going to be like, I'm just busting your balls, man, blah, blah, blah. And they'll just say something crazy, you know. It's funny how that works. Yeah, let me look up a mechanic forum or something. Like, you know what? I'm not going to do that because then it's going to say a bunch of crazy stuff on the screen. So, but what I'm trying to say is, if you look at the target demographic, obviously, it's going to be a little bit twisted, a little bit at least. So, yeah, I'm sure if you go to a different app, it'll be a little bit crazy. Kurt says, "You ever heard of Death Grips?" Oh yeah, that's a great example of what I'm talking about. Almost every person, I'm getting a little stereotypical here, but almost every person that I've met that loves Death Grips is like a crazy person. I've met so many people that are just like, oh, Death Grips is my favorite band. And then, like, they get fired from their job, and then, like, I see them with a shaved head somewhere, and they're, like, on a list of, like, they've been kicked out of every bar. Stuff like that. I've seen that so many times, dude. So, not everybody, of course, but I've seen that a bunch of times with Death Grips fans. Like, you're not gonna find a Britney Spears fan who's been kicked out of every bar in town. It's just not gonna happen. Somebody says, "Sir, I want Ozzy Osbourne and my man to come home." I don't know what you mean by that, buddy. I'm not the champion of that. JJ says, "Not artistic, would have a picture of me beside it." What are you talking about? What is happening in the chat? Not artistic. What are you? Oh, are you saying you're not artistic? Oh, I see. In the dictionary. Okay, I figured it out. I got you, man. No, I'm just saying though. It's just like if you go to if you have a writer's app for like poetry, it's probably going to attract poets, right? Kind of makes sense. So, Kurt says if you listen to Death Grips, you're usually a schizo. I got you. No, I'm just saying I've listened to Death Grips before, but I know people like that would be at parties who would like go and turn off the music and force people to listen to Death Grips. And I'm like, dude, I don't know why you're doing this. You're making the hose scared. You know what I mean? That kind of situation. That meme. You're scaring the hose. So, but yeah, I've met people like that. They're pretty funny. Not in like a ha-ha way, but like a way. It's pretty funny how that works. Blake says, I don't know why, but I think the riff to Featherweight kind of sounds like the opening of Take a Picture by Filter. I've heard that before. I think it's in the same key. If I'm not mistaken. Or maybe they're like similar ideas. I know somebody yesterday was talking about how Burn My Portrait sounds like 8675309, which is hilarious to me. You like Misfits? So do I, dude. Misfits. Great band. Oh, speaking of Misfits, dude. Speaking of crazy people. You guys ever go to Danzig's Facebook and stuff? Hold on. Glenn Danzig, right? Hold on. Was his Twitter? He had a really funny Twitter that got hacked once, or somebody to like put a funny message on it. I can't say it on here, but they said something about him eating some sort of substance, and he's like, "I don't do that. I don't eat that stuff." And he like freaked out. It was really funny. Yeah, Danzig's pretty insane. I think we all agree. If you like Misfits, you don't actually like Misfits for Danzig. You like the things around Misfits. You know what I mean? He had some great music, some great ideas, but he's kind of a crazy piece of shit. So he's pretty insane. But I'll never forget. Let's see here. Where's the Twitter? I'm gonna see if I can find it. Images. I can't see it. Oh, hold on. No, that's not Glenn. Okay, that's not him. Okay, somebody made a fan account that said, if you see anyone making fun of Glenn Danzig on the internet, report it to the account's admin. It is illegal. It's like, what? What are you talking about? What, are you crazy? You can make fun of whatever you want. Let's see here. Max says, hard to choose a least favorite band. Everyone's trying to make music and contribute to people's enjoyment as best they can. No, I know. We're just kind of talking about whatever. This is just to get people to, join in the conversation if they want to. Oasis sucks, though. I'll say that. Not a big fan of Oasis. But I mean, I'm not going to make fun of people for liking Oasis. I don't like them. But if somebody says I like Oasis, I'm going to be like, nah, I'm okay. That's all we're doing. It's like, let me put it this way. If I didn't put that up there and I said, tell me what your favorite band is, we would get, no comments. Isn't that weird? It's an unfortunate kind of thing where hatred gets people to speak out, but unity and peaceful talks don't get a lot of people to talk. Weird. But hey, that's part of the game, man. Can I play Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne? I don't know, can I? What are you talking about? Muse? You don't like Muse? I'm not a big Muse guy. They have a couple good songs. But I think they're also kind of crazy dudes. They're pretty funny. But I do like some of their music. I do like it. Ashika says, Breath of the Dying reminds me of a song that would play in a Pizza Hut or Pizza Inn. I don't know how to understand. I don't know how to respond to that. I don't know what that means. JJ says, do you like Francis Farmer? Oh, yeah. That song's great. Yeah, that song's phenomenal. There's a really good cover that I can't play on the show that is from Jay something. You have to come up with, I don't think I can say it on the show, but you can look up Jay something, and then it should pop up. But, yeah, if you look up Francis Farmer Jay cover, he's one of the only artists that I've ever seen out there who's done Nirvana justice as far as a cover. Could not believe anybody could do that. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, let me see here. I don't know what's going on with the chat. What is happening? I like how people come in here and they're like, can you play music? And it's just like, sorry, dude. There's a sign that says it. Every time I make signs, I'm like, this is a waste of my time. Nobody ever reads the signs. Nobody cares about it. Let's see here. Afternoon says you should add Serve the Servants to the show. It used to be on there. Nobody requested it. So I had to take it off. Anytime nobody requests a song for a long time, I take it off the show because I can't be expected to remember how to play it. And if there's other room for other songs, I always make room for that. So, yeah. Sorry, man. I do like it. It's a great song. But nobody ever requested it. That and Serve the Servants. Serve the Servants. Serve the Servants. And then it was also, what's the other one? Scentless Apprentice. Scentless Apprentice. I have no idea why people did not request those songs. I loved those songs. Those are really fun to play. But for some reason, the people just don't do it. Yep. Very lame, in my opinion. But, yeah. No way to do it. Ashika says, what are your thoughts on Sleep Token? We were just talking about that earlier. We were talking about how there's 3 bands people bring up as troll music, which is, one is Polyphia, the other one is Dragon Force, and then the other one is Sleep Token. I don't know what it is about those bands, but they always get brought up. They're like the new Freebird. Anytime somebody wants to make a joke or be mocking of a live stream or live audience or something, they'll always bring up those bands. Always, no matter what. Because they know it gets a reaction. I'm starting to think, and this is I'm being completely honest here, that being popular, or I should say being popular, being recommended on any sort of algorithmic platform, you're going to have people that massively hate something, and the reason that those bands get popular is because, and I've said this many times before, algorithms don't understand good and bad. They only understand hot and cold. If there is a topic that is very hot, a lot of comments, a lot of people talking about it, a lot of people viewing it, doesn't matter if people don't like it. Even for the most part, it gets attention. They want that attention to keep going. So Sleep Token's one of those bands, unfortunately, that people really like, but also a lot of people really don't like. I just don't care. I have no problem with them. I've heard a couple songs. I thought they were pretty good, but I didn't enjoy them to the point where like I wanted to buy a T-shirt or something. But there's a lot of people who are like, Sleep Token sucks. It's not metal. I saw somebody earlier say that. Yeah, Chad. We got Chad in the chat who's feeding the algorithm. He's feeding that kind of joking controversy. So I don't know. You're playing part of the system, man. But at the same time, I understand. I'm not going to fault you for it, but it makes sense. It's very interesting how that works, man. So many people out there just fall for it. Also, real quick, I know we got a couple people in here. We have an hour until I start playing music on the other show, on the other channel. If you have not followed my main channel, which is just Patrick Gnarly, you'll be able to hear some music on there. So I have an exceptional show tonight. The show is going to be Save or Smash. We're going to have 2 separate donation drives. You got it. So if somebody wants to complain about me smashing guitars, I can be like, put something in to save it or shut up. I'm going to say it. It's going to be awesome. And guess what? No matter what happens, we're going to have a good show. Trust me. Oh, my God, am I excited, dude. You have no idea. I'm so excited. Oh, it's so cool. I love it. Ashika says, yeah, I think it's great music, but yes, Vessel gets hella girls. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Go watch any Sleep Token live. All the girls are screaming Vessel. I mean, okay. I mean, if it was a hot lady and all the dudes wanted to like give her a smooch, I'm sure it'd be a different story. So I think it's really funny how people complain about that. I mean, the Beatles, people scream over the Beatles. They wrote some great music. I don't think it's a valid criticism, in my opinion. Like, I mean, if you have a problem with a band, it's because of the music. It's like, okay, I get it. Or if you have a problem with their behavior, I get it. But over the fans, I don't think it's as good of especially if they're not doing anything wrong. So, Pumpkin says, can you play Help? No. I got a sign there that says no music requests. Sorry. Nothing to play for you, but I will play music in an hour. And we're just talking about stuff. We're kind of sharing our opinions, giving our points of view on things. So, but yeah, no music. Sorry. Yeah, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time we'll play music, but it's going to be on my other channel. So, which I'm actually starting to think maybe having 2 channels isn't a great idea, but we're still trying it out. So anyways, hold on a second. I got a question for everybody in the audience. Hold on. I got a question for everyone in the audience. I'll read that in a second. What is everybody's least favorite band recently? What is something new that you heard? You were like, no thanks, not a fan, not into this. I don't want to check this out anymore. I'm going to think about my answer to that question while I read your guys' stuff. A new band. Taylor Swift, really? They've been around for a long time, dude. They've been around for a long time. Yeah. Well, I say they. She's been around for a long time. She doesn't really have a band. You know what I mean? I'm going to say the most recent band that I checked out that I was not interested in. Oh, I don't even want to say it. Actually, I'm not going to. There's a band that I heard recently, and I don't like them. And they actually talked to me personally, and I just don't want to give them any attention. I don't give them a single ounce of attention. Let me put it this way. I've talked to them. I hate them. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to talk about them. So maybe I'll think of a different band. So JJ says I've mostly been stuck in the 90s, sir. Hey, it happens. No worries. Let's see here. What are you talking about? How about you don't try to run my show? Cool, thanks. All right. Let me think about it. I'm trying to think of another band that I listened to recently, and I was like, didn't really get into it. I know I listened to a recent album. And I skipped through, and I could not sit through a single song. I can't remember what band it was, though. I think it was a band you guys recommended to me, too. Oh, I know. I recently listened to Megadeth, too. I've heard Megadeth in the past, but I never, sat down and went through, specific songs in their discography. So I guess my answer would be Megadeth. Never really got into them. There's 1 or 2 songs I can tolerate, but never fell in love with them at all. Not a chance. Yeah. Oh, you don't like Tool? Interesting. Pussifer? You don't like them? Okay. Interesting. I think they got a couple good songs. In my opinion, Tool's great. Really like Tool. A Perfect Circle, for some reason, I've listened to far more. There's a couple songs from A Perfect Circle that I really, really liked. I've listened to them for the past couple of years. Tool comes in waves for me. I'll listen to Tool for a while, and then I'll go away and come back, go away. There's another musician here on YouTube. He's mainly on TikTok. He does only Tool. His whole thing is he just does Tool covers. So I used to do only Nirvana covers, then I kind of branched out because I didn't want to be kind of stuck in that. So I love them. They're my favorite band, but I want to write my own music, you know. He decided to keep doing his own thing with Tool, and it's like, that's nice. But I really don't listen to Tool as much since that. So it's kind of weird. So, but you don't like Puddle of Mud? Okay, fair. That's fair. I'm not a super fan either. Ashika says, to be honest, I've not been able to get behind Earth, Wind, and Fire. Really? They're fun. I think they're a fun band, but you don't have to love them. I don't hate them, though. Not at all. Dante. We got Dante. Dante says almost everyone does Tool covers nowadays. Yeah, I've noticed that. I don't know what that is. I know that the people sometimes have trouble covering Tool because, like, for example, Smashing Pumpkins, when I play Smashing Pumpkins, the reason it says no music requests is because if I even start singing a song, this is not an exaggeration, if I even start singing a song, I can get demonetized on this episode of the show. So if I play music, it's toast. Some bands don't allow you to play their music at all. It won't just demonetize you to remove your video. Tool's one of them. Smashing Pumpkins is another. The late stuff from Nirvana, like the stuff from Montage of Heck, like the Beans song. If I play the Beans song on here, even just for like 5 seconds, immediate removal. I have to mute that part of the video. Isn't that crazy? So I don't know what it is, but yeah, if you're a Tool fan and you're trying to cover music and stuff like that, crazy how that goes. So let's see here. Pantera. I like Pantera a lot. Pantera's great. They got some great music. Yeah. Fantastic band. A lot of great stuff. What's going on with what's the main dude? Not Dimebag, obviously. Who's the main singer? You know what I'm talking about? What's going on with him? Is he crazy or what? What's happening? I never really did the research on that. He's crazy. Afternoon says, how do play Smashing Pumpkins then? Not every song. Specific songs like Space Boy. If you notice, I only have like 4 songs from Smashing Pumpkins. Because I didn't want to try and find out which songs were banned, which ones weren't. Space Boy specifically, 100% can't play it. Even for a little bit, it just completely destroys it. We know Dimebag's dead, dude. That's what I'm saying. Is it Phil? Yeah, what's going on with Phil? Is he all right? Last time I heard, he was like getting kicked off a stage or people were booing him out of a show or something. I don't know what it was. But last time I checked, people were not happy with him. So I don't know what's going on. He did say some bad stuff? Okay, well, he did something where people got really upset. I want to say it was like white supremacist things. I don't know. I'm not saying I know what it is, but that's what I remember. So he gets low blood sugar. Hey, if that happens, I mean, that's insane. He put his hand up like the Mustache Man. Oh, no. Come on. Come on. That's lame. I mean, was he doing it to be a jerk? Because let me put it this way. I will say one name, and you guys are going to go, yeah, that makes sense. I will say one name. Some people can say almost whatever they want, and they basically get out of it scot-free because you know they're not being serious. Tyler, the Creator. Tyler, the Creator has a reputation for being so over the top and outrageous. He can pretty much say whatever he wants. He doesn't do it as much anymore, but the songs are there, man. The songs are there. But again, he just goes insane. And you can tell he's not being serious, but at the same time, that doesn't mean it's okay. But at the same time, it doesn't mean he's being serious. So, yeah, Tyler, he's gotten calmer. Calmer is a very strong word. He's definitely not been as, what's the word? Shock jock. He still writes great music, but yeah, it's what you put it like these two examples. You got Phil doing something really bad. I don't know why he did it. Was he being serious or not? And then you have Tyler, again, doing stuff that's bad, like objectively. But then people are like, yeah, but that's just Tyler. So it's weird how that works. It is very weird how some people kind of get it treated seriously and other ones don't. I think another great example of that is I've had this argument with a lot of people. I like Led Zeppelin, but that doesn't excuse what Jimmy Page did, right? There's no illusion there. I'm not under any kind of like, well, it's okay since it was this. I understand. Doesn't make it okay. So Jimmy Page obviously has his weird issues. Still like Led Zeppelin. There are people out there that look at Brand New, for example, and they're like, I still like Brand New, and I'm still going to go to the shows, but, whatever what happened with Jesse's, whatever. And I'm like, I don't agree with that. That's one of those situations, in my opinion, what makes it different is Led Zeppelin, not a band anymore, not playing music anymore. It's the equivalent of saying, like, George Washington, he's on the coins. I mean, this was hundreds of years ago. I don't support everything he did, but obviously there was some great stuff that he did. I get it. But you can't, like, there's nothing, even if you did something about it, it's gone. It's not out there anymore. Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page's still alive, but he's not active anymore. It's not really, it's nothing you can do. Whereas Jesse from Brand New, still active, still did some really fucked up shit, terrible things, and then people still support him. Like, why? You can say you like the music. Let me put it this way. Like, the whole idea of listening to a band, even though they're, like, obviously messed up, I get it. But to lie for them and be like, he didn't do anything wrong, I don't see a problem with it. What? Why? Why do you have to pretend it's not a big deal? So let me put it this way. If you don't know, so Jimmy Page had a relationship with a very young girl. And I say relationship, I'm using that very, liberally, I guess you could say. He was with somebody he shouldn't have been. Way too young. And that's not cool. That's weird. It's very strange. It's very, very, very bad. I don't know how else to say it other than it's fucked up. And then you have Jesse Lacey, who was, they haven't gone to court about it. Nobody's gone to jail, nothing like that. But some people were like, hey, when I was 15, he was like being weird with me. And then another person, she was like, no, I was 17. I was 16, So that's what was going on. So really crazy. And what's weird is that people are like, yeah, but they didn't go to court about it. It's like, yeah, but neither did Jimmy Page. They still admitted it. Everybody still involved is like, yeah, that's pretty much what happened. So it's really weird. So, and to be fair, since nobody went to court, nobody proved anything, I get it. You can hold reserve and judgment. But if you see pictures, which there are pictures out there, of Jesse having dinner with the girl and her family, really awkwardly, and people were like, they didn't know each other, and it's like, yeah, there's proof right there that they didn't know each other, and he was on the bus with the girl, and he gave an apology a week after she came out and said, this guy was being weird. What's he apologizing for? It all kind of, yeah, no idea. The other thing is Michael Jackson. I have no idea how to think about that one. I've had so many conflicting reports of everything. No idea what's going on. No idea. It's very bizarre. It's very bizarre. Because I remember back in, the early 2000s? That's when everybody was like absolutely sure. We're like, he's going to court over it. And then you hear like all this like back and forth about people planting evidence and being weird. And I don't know. I don't know what the definitive answer to that is. So, no, who knows? I don't know. But I think it's easy to say, on one hand, if it happened, get him out of here. On the other hand, he's gone. The music's still here. If you want to listen to it, I'm not going to freak out too bad. But you can acknowledge it. So I don't know. It's weird. It's weird that people can't just be honest about stuff like that, It's weird people have to pretend or lie about it. It's like, dude, just say you don't know. Just say you don't know. Just be honest. If this, then okay. If that, then okay. So it's very weird how people just get so like really defensive about something that means a lot to them, and I get it. But it's like for example, with Nirvana, we were talking about this earlier with Oasis versus Nirvana and all these other bands. Nirvana is one of my favorite bands, not just because I love the music, but because there's all these great qualities outside the band that I really respected. Now, obviously, they're not perfect. I mean, he was a drug addict that was like rude to people sometimes, like really argumentative. Does that make him a saint? No, of course not. But I like all of his stuff. I like all that stuff he's talking about. So it's It's fascinating. Whereas, like, for example, we were talking about Oasis. He hasn't done anything actually wrong besides be rude to people. But I hate him almost as much as other bands that did do bad stuff. So, yeah, Kurt was very much underdog. He was an underdog fighter. You know, he was always about making sure people weren't just cruel for no reason. And he hated a lot of stuff. And he felt a lot of stuff very strongly. And you know what? Turns out if you feel things intensely, you kind of give intense responses. So I understand it. So JJ says, how do you feel about Courtney Love and Hole? Courtney Love, I've kind of had mixed feelings about Courtney Love for a while. Because in the beginning, I thought she was unfairly criticized for a lot of things. And I still think that's true. But I've also seen a lot of stuff that she's like said and done. And I go, okay, I could see the reputation. But at the same time, it's like being kind of cast as like the villain in this story where she's the absolute victim is very weird. And I get it. Some people are going to be like, well, she did it. And it's like, come on, man. There's enough evidence that goes the other way. So, and of course, if evidence comes up and it goes, no, she did do it, then obviously I was wrong. Look at that. It's easy to say that. But some people are so hell-bent on pinning, his killing and stuff, his death on her. It's just like, I don't know, man. You can be like, I don't know, I have a suspicion. But to say that she did it definitively is just like, there's just not enough evidence. There's enough evidence going the other way. So it's like, it doesn't make sense. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Oh, no, they were married, dude. They had a kid. They have a kid. Their kid has a kid now. So, what are my thoughts on U2? Great band. They got some good stuff. Not really an influence on my music. I've definitely listened to a couple songs. Bullet the Blue Sky is an awesome song, though. I will say that. So, Hunter say she didn't exactly contribute to him getting better. Well, here we go. We're gonna get started on this. So, what do you mean by contribute to him getting better? What does that mean? Are you saying that it's her fault he got hooked on heroin and stuff? Are you saying that, it's her fault that he wanted to do what he wanted to do? It's kind of a fucked up thing to say if you think about it. Think about it. Could you imagine saying that about Mike Shinoda with Chester or his wife and his kids? Well, you guys didn't exactly save him. I don't know what that means. She did lace him a few times. She laced his stuff. Is that true? Is that true? Did he lace her stuff? What are you talking about? Let me put it this way. There's a lot of vicious rumors. There's a lot of crazy things. In fact, there's a lot of like videos. Like, what's that one? Was it Soaked in Bleach? Wasn't that a documentary that was coming? That thing's insane. Yeah, it's very difficult to point the finger, man. It's very difficult to point the finger. You just got to kind of understand that Kurt, in my opinion, Kurt was a very troubled man, and he'd been living a life that was very fast and a lot of pressure on him. And he turned to drugs, and it probably worked for him for a little bit, and then it got worse. Everything got way worse. And you could look at any one of the situations. He just had a kid. He's a very famous rock and roll musician. He got married recently. He's having fights with his band members. He's always touring on the road. He's got family problems. He has a family history. Any one of those things could drive somebody to take their own life. Any one of them. But you throw them all in a big pot and you say, how long are you going to last? Not long, man. Not long. So that's why I always look at people when they're like, kind of making it simpler than it actually is. Dude, it was super complicated. There's so many different angles to look at this thing from. So many people take their lives over just one singular situation. So I think it's a bit silly to kind of try and narrow it down like that. It just doesn't make sense. So yeah. So when people talk about the situation behind Kurt's decisions and why he took his life, it's just like if you spent 10 years on it, just learning about it, you still won't have all the answers. You can't. You know what I mean? You can't. So, just makes sense. Exactly. There's a lot of things that are just from different directions all at the same time. You know what I mean? How many of us in this room have had situations go wildly out of control and think, man, I don't know what to do. I don't think I'm going to make it. You know? Think about that for a second. Not everybody has that situation, but some people do. A lot of people do. And it makes sense that if you try and add all those situations over your entire life, all in like 2 years, 3 years, how you going to hold up? How you holding up, buddy? Can you imagine somebody having like reporters hounding you, writing stories about you and your family? That alone, I mean, think about it. We had somebody on YouTube recently who was in charge of saving animals. What was her name? She had the foxes or something. You know what I'm talking about? What was her name? That was recent. She went on YouTube. Michaela Raines, YouTube star, took her own life because of people like being cruel to her. You know what I mean? Or at least that's the story I remember reading. It can happen over the smallest or the biggest things, dude. So anyways, I want to kind of change subject because I know I'll probably get in trouble if I keep talking about this. But hey, man, it's a lot easier than you think. Not everybody's as strong as you think. So that's all I'm going to say about it. But as far as music goes, the good news is that the legacy is there. The music is there. I remember I was reading something. There was a response from the band Title Fight. I'm not a super fan of them. But people always ask them, when are they getting back together? When are they going to make another record? When are they going to make more music? And he would say constantly, like, hey, I thank you for the, looking this up and being supportive, but we're not interested in pursuing this anymore. But the music will always be there. And that's what's nice about recorded music. And this is going to be really interesting. If you think about music, and I mean this in a very, very bizarre way, it's not as old as you think. It is, but like recorded music has been around for like what, 150 years? Really only for 100 so years? Because think about all the music that was recorded in like the 1900s, 1910s, 1920s. A lot of that stuff is just gone because they didn't think to keep it or keep records of it or wasn't able to be kept. So there's a lot of music out there that was written but never recorded the way that they were supposed to play it exactly. You know what I mean? Sure, there's sheet music out there. There's people describing the music. But to hear, like, Beethoven, right? Just going nuts on the piano. We're not going to hear that. You know what I mean? Not in the way he did it. Maybe there is a Beethoven recording out there. I don't know. But what I'm saying is the point is that that recorded music's only been around for so long. And it's amazing that we have this technology. We have the way to really just hold on to it. Like, this is not a joke. Check this out. I'm on vinyl. My latest record's on vinyl. If I'm gone, I mentioned that in this record. There's a lyric I specifically say where I say, am I still around? Am I above the ground? You know what I mean? Are you still there? Are you listening to this and I'm not here? Because that's recorded music. So it's very interesting how it's just like the music is there. And what's weird, too, is if you've ever seen any post-apocalyptic movie or read a story where you talk about, like, nuclear war and, like, how the electromagnetic pulse might wipe out a bunch of stuff that's electrical, if you don't have hard copies of stuff, like in Blade Runner 2049, if you don't have something physically there, it can be completely wiped off the internet like that. I've had that happen. There's lost media. My entire first year on being on TikTok is almost completely gone. All of that is lost media now. You know why? Because TikTok doesn't save it. You have to save it. And if you're on your phone with YouTube and stuff like that, thank God YouTube actually gets to keep all that stuff, which is great. Anytime I do the show, there's a record of it. So anytime you can just go back and watch it. But the whole first year of my streaming career, gone. Can't watch it. It's not there. Lost media. It's gone. Because it was electronic and I didn't save it. And neither did TikTok. So isn't that fascinating? So I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't have backups, like I have, this is not a joke. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 backup hard drives of all my music and stuff. because I'm that paranoid about losing all my stuff. Because I'm the only one who has it. I have it backed up on the internet too. There's recordings on my phone. It's all there. So it's very interesting how if you don't have a hard copy or at least a backup of something, like I remember when I was younger, all of my photos on MySpace, they're all gone. Like here, I'll even pull it up. Hold on, let me see if I can do this. I'll pull it up. I remember my old URL. It's like how some people have old phone numbers. You think that Facebook and like TikTok are going to keep your stuff? No, check this out. Let's see if I can pull this up. This is my old MySpace page. Hold on. Look at it. It's all gone. A couple friends right there. Stuff like that. It's gone. Everything on there's just disappeared. There's no more photos. Isn't that crazy? It's all gone. Because I didn't make a backup of it. I thought MySpace was always going to be there. MySpace is always going to be there. Why would I have to back this up? Wrong. So from like when I was like 13 or 12 to when I was about 18, none of those pictures are there. Hey, we got Cool Killa. Cool Killa pulled so many shouties. I got you. Dude, not a joke, actually. With the first girl I ever went on a date with from MySpace. Yo, me and Cool Killa. Yo, psh. She went to a different school. Did I ever tell you guys that story? I'll tell you guys that story. Okay. Real quick, because I know we're kind of just talking. Not many people have any questions or anything like that. But let me just change this real quick. Hold on. And I'll tell you guys a story. Because it's pretty damn funny. Okay, so I was on MySpace, and there was a girl that messaged me. I was like 13 or 14 years old. I think I was 14. And she messaged me out of the blue. I have no idea who she is. We're talking on the internet. She's like, hey, you seem really cool, blah, blah. What do you like, blah, blah. Oh, you like Nirvana? That's cool. What do you like? Oh, okay, cool, blah, blah. So we talked for a while. We talked for like a couple days. And she finally goes, do you want to hang out? Do you want to like go to a movie or something? I was like, I can hang out. You want to hang out? I can do that. I'm down. And I go to my mom, like, Mom! Mom! I got to go. There's a girl that wants to hang out with me online. And my mom's like, okay. So, of course, being, boy mom, there's no idea of, like, safety or concern. It's just like, okay, honey, where are we going? My son's got a girlfriend. Whereas if, like, girl mom, it's like, what? You can't meet somebody off the internet. What are you talking about? Blah, blah, blah. That would never happen today. But anyways, so we drove like half an hour outside of town, go to another place, and it's like in a cul-de-sac. We get there, and I get out of the car. I'm like, Mom, all right, I'll talk to you later. See ya. Get out of the car. She's in the car still. And I go up to the door. I, knock. I'm ready to go. And this like old guy, big beard, bald hair, and he's like, hey, man, are you Patrick? I'm like, yeah. He's like, all right, man, come on in. And I look at my mom. I look at my mom, and I go right into the house. And then, like, I go in the house, and you know how, like, you get a split second of, like, worry and dread? You're like, uh-oh. I don't know if this is a good idea. And I go, okay, where's she at? And he goes, oh, man, she's in the basement, man. Go down there. It'll be all right. Yes, I've never been here before. Random house, random person, never met him before in my life. That was the day. So we go. It got worse, dude. The 70s. People just get into people's cars. Anyways, so go to the house, and I go in the basement, and I'm like thinking to myself, like, this is kind of shifty. And then I hear music music on the TV downstairs. And it's the Cranberries. If you've never heard the Cranberries, they have that zombie song, right? So I go downstairs. I turn the corner. And then, boom! Girl. I'm like, what? And she's really there. She's like, hey, how you doing? And that was the first time I kissed a girl. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. We didn't really date out that long after that. we like saw each other for like maybe a month or something. So very little. I was just, for some reason, there was no connection. And I'm not like trying to be with somebody I wasn't connected with. So I was like, all right, whatever. She got mad at me, though. It was really funny. She's like, I'm dating a drug dealer now. And I'm like, okay, cool. Sounds good. Bye. I got to play some video. I got to play Diablo 2. So funny, dude. She got so mad when I was just like, cool, don't care. Hit her with that thumbs up emoji and went on. I got another hose to talk to. JK, I did not say that. She was really mad. She's like, "You suck!" Blah, blah, blah. And she was clearly making it up. Like she's not dating anybody. She was just trying to get me jealous. And I was like, "Psych, see ya." Didn't fall in love. Sorry. But to be fair, that happened to me later. So I was like, "Oh, I like you. You like me." She's like, "Nah, I'm trying to hang out with other people." And I was like, "Ah!" So I got what was coming to me. Learned a valuable lesson there, but has nothing to do with music. We're just talking about my personal life. So, Meteora says, I saw a video of Suicide Boys covering Zombie. Really? That doesn't sound too related. It's pretty funny. Blake says, one day I'd like to try out a relationship, but I'm too nervous and I think I'm better off alone. What if you just do what I did and just give it a shot? You know what I mean? What if you give yourself permission to fail? Like you're already deciding, like, I don't think there's anybody out there for you. Maybe there's not. Give it a shot anyways. If it fails, nothing's happened. You know what I mean? That's the way I looked at music for a long time. I was like, dude, I'm probably not going to be successful at this. I'm probably not going to be continuing this. And now I've been doing it for the past 2 years. So it's you do it for 10 years, you roll the dice for 10 years, you're gonna get lucky eventually. Yeah, don't do what I did and meet a stranger like that. What you should do, you want some dating advice? You want some real dating advice from your boy? Listen, I'm going to give you guys a pro tip. Everybody, boys and girls, everybody online, if you're not in a relationship, you're trying to be in one, it is tough. I'll tell you that. It is tough when you're doing stuff online. But if you think about it this way, if you're interested in somebody and you want a relationship and you're too nervous to talk to your friends, because I know a lot of people like to start relationships with their friends and stuff like that, really you should just talk to as many people as you can online. And then if you have something in common, see if you can develop it. Be honest about it, Don't do that thing. I'm going to tell you right now, don't do that thing that's really lame that people do, which is, whatever you like, I like. You like puppies? I love puppies. If you're like, puppies are cool, just be real. Because, let me put it this way. The worst thing that can happen is if you do that, you're gonna end up dating somebody that you actually don't like, and they don't like you. Like, just be real. It's like, I'm really into Nirvana. You don't really like Nirvana? Okay, well, let's see if this works. I don't know. Yeah, just be sincere. Exactly. Thank you, Carlos. And that's what a lot of people say. They're like, be yourself. Like, if you suck, you're not going to probably find anybody, to be real. Let's call a spade a spade. If you smell, do you know how many people are going to not like you? Pretty much everybody. But you might find somebody that doesn't mind. And if that's who you are, if you're a smelly person, hey, that's your decision. But you have to decide what is your core value? Like, what means a lot to you? Like, let me put it this way, you guys. I have long hair. This is like a part of my personality. I love being a rock and roll dude. I love playing music. That's my life. If I dated somebody who's like, I'm not really into the long hair, you should cut it. I'd be like, how about I cut you out of this conversation? And then just slam dunk. You know what I mean? No, I'm not going to cut my hair. But if somebody was talking to me and they're like, you kind of smell. Did you not put on deodorant today? I'd be like, no, I did not. I'm so sorry about that. You know what I mean? Just, what's part of you? What do you believe in? What do you fight for? What do you want to be? And then what are you okay with working on? And I mean legitimately okay with working on. So he keeps talking about being smelly. Maybe he smells a lot. No, I'm okay. But I will tell you this. It wouldn't be the first time somebody said, hey, you should definitely put on deodorant. But some people don't get mad about that. You know what I mean? Some people are like, hey, were you working out earlier? Okay, just making sure. There might be flaws with you. Figure out what's a flaw and what's a personality trait. You know what I mean? I'm a musician. I don't look like a lawyer. You know what I mean? I look like I look like Jack Black. If you don't like Jack Black, we're not going to get along. It's going to happen. So find somebody you agree with. Let me tell you something. I have met people who have met partners on like Roblox. Not that saying Roblox is good anymore, but people have met on Instagram. People have met people on Hinge and all these other websites. Nirvana forums. There's people out there. There's people out there, dude. The key to being in a relationship, not just being sincere, but like asking, talking to people, getting a read on the room. You know what I mean? Figure out what you have in common if it's going to work. And you're going to have to try. There's an old saying, which is not an old saying, I'm sorry. There's a lyric from Daniel Johnston, who's just amazing. And he has a line that says, true love will find you in the end. But you got to step out into the light. You got to get out there, man. You got to talk to people. You got to ask. You got to ask for the sale, you know. Hey, we're really cool. Would you like to go on a date with me? Excuse me. You know what I mean? Would you like to go watch the Nirvana live in Reading concert? Hold on, let me get super nerded out. Excuse me, would you like to come see the Nirvana Unplugged DVD with the commentary on? She might say yes. He might say no. Who knows? But you got to ask. If you just sit around like, oh, I wish somebody would talk to me. Nobody's going to talk to you. You kidding me? Why would they? They're waiting for you. You got to talk to them. That's what happens. Man, and here's the other thing, too. I'm saying this like it's easy. It's not easy. But you got to do it. It's the responsibility you have to yourself. So that's my advice. If you're trying to, get in a relationship and you're like nervous about it, if you don't know what to do, just find people that say stuff and do stuff you like and see if they like you back. Figure it out. You got a Cool Killer sounds like a good basketball coach. You got to put yourself in a position to win. Listen, if you're not getting passes, you better make yourself available for passes. If you're not getting the rebounds, you better position yourself to get a rebound. You know what I mean? So you got to do. And here's what sounds funny. That's easy to say, but you got to figure out how to do it for you. Because I could say, be on the internet, talk to people. You might not be like on the internet as much. Maybe just like being on YouTube. Then go out in real life. Talk to people. Dude, you know how many times, this is true. I'm going to give you guys, this is probably bad advice. But this is true. When I used to smoke cigarettes, this is 100% true. This is not a joke, half of the women that I dated were because I smoked cigarettes. I'm not kidding. When I was like 19, was I 18 or 19? I remember I was smoking cigarettes outside of school. Don't smoke. But again, I'm talking about having things in common. Don't smoke. Hold on. So Cool Killer says, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. We got Wayne Gretzky. In the chat. Cool Killer. Thank you, buddy. Everyone say thank you to Cool Killer. What was I saying? Yeah, I used to smoke cigarettes. And I remember there was this girl, and her name was Katie, and she saw that I was smoking cigarettes. She was like, oh, you smoke! Because, when you're in high school, you don't smoke cigarettes. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, I smoke too. And I'm like, really? You don't seem like a smoker. And she's like, what's that supposed to mean? And I'm like, you know what I mean? I was like, you know what I mean? You're like a grade A student. What are you talking about smoking cigarettes? I was like, I'm the flunky. What are you talking about? She's like, no, maybe we should smoke cigarettes together. And I was just like, that conversation would have never happened if she hadn't messaged me out of the blue. You got to message people. You got to talk to them. So what if it doesn't work out? Move on to the next one. You already got your answer. You know how many guitars I tried before I before I fell in love with the ones I did? Hundreds. So what I'm saying is smoke cigarettes, kids. You meet people. No, what I'm saying is find something in common. Oh, I saw you wearing a Nirvana shirt. Do you like a big fan of Nirvana? I'm like a huge fan. I love Nirvana. Abby says no. Abby says smoke rocks. No, I'm kidding. All right. Anyways, back to what I'm saying though. You gotta find things in common. Maybe you draw a picture for them. Like, hey, I know you like art, and thought you'd like this picture of you. That would win my heart. If that ever happened. You know what I mean? Or if somebody's like really into guitar, that's another easy one. Oh, I really wanted to learn guitar. Could you maybe teach me to play guitar? Something like that, dude. Go talk to somebody. Go talk to somebody. Abby says, good idea. Oh, my God. That's the point I'm trying to make. Here is that you got to find something in common. You guys want another piece of advice? This is actually legitimate. You know what the Ford method is? Anyone ever heard the Ford method? Ford method is family, occupation, recreation, and then what is the D in Ford? Hold on. family, occupation, recreation, and then dreams. 4 questions you ask anybody, anytime you want to, figure out what they're doing. Shut up, Abby. Get out of here! I'm just kidding. Found it. Just like Lotus. Lotus has one. Lotus is lots of trouble, usually serious. Fiat. Fix it again, Tony! Yeah, there's a lot of great ones. You know what Ford stands for, right? Fix it again, Tony. Anyone watch King of the Hill? Anyways. So, yeah, Honda gang. Dude, Honda's got good stuff. But, yeah, the Ford method, I'll say it again, is family, occupation, recreation, dreams. That's the 4 things you should talk to somebody about. And most people do it, but not everybody does. And it's good to always ask in a way like, are you working on anything right now? You know what I mean? And they'll be like, oh, I'm not really working on anything. It's like, oh, okay, well, what do you plan on working on? Stuff like that. Abby says, what are we talking about? Well, somehow we got onto the topic of dating advice. Just talking about dating advice. We were talking about, I know what happened. We were talking about music for a minute, and then I talked about how I almost got abducted, but it was MySpace, and how nothing's permanent. A lot of stuff like that. Pulling tail. I love it. But yeah, point I'm trying to make here is that there's ways to talk to people, dude. But above all, be sincere and try to see if you guys get along. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I've been in a couple relationships where I liked the person, but we actually didn't get along. Like, I would always be arguing with them. We would always be having, like, fights. And it was not because I didn't like them. It's because we didn't agree on stuff. Does that make sense? Because you can like somebody and not agree on everything they have to talk about. So, yeah, you just want to make sure it works. Because, like, God knows, you can think somebody's attractive all day. That's easy. You got eyes? Easy. But if you say something like, hey, I'm thinking about going to the record store, buy some CDs, maybe get some cool T-shirts. You want to come with me? And they go, I don't know. Capricorn's in retrograde right now, and I can't go there because. And you're like, oh, you really like astrology? Yes, I really like astrology. And you're like, I don't like astrology, so I'm going to put that on hold. See ya. You could do that. You would not be, nobody would ever fault you for that. But if you're like, okay, I have an open mind, I'm okay with astrology, that's fine. Yeah, you just want to get to know them. But excuse me, when were you born? Get away from that girl! Hey, Mom, what time? When was I born? In the morning or the night? Stop talking to her! Okay, sorry, Mom. That's how it works, man. It's funny. Oh, man. Whoa, what are you guys talking about? Good Lord. Let's see here. Anyways, that's my advice for you. We got about 15 minutes left until I'm going to go play some music. I think what I'm going to do is we're going to end it right there. So again, thank you guys so much for being here. If you got some good advice, if you listen to something, you went, this guy sounds like he knows what he's talking about, then subscribe to the live. Maybe clip it, post it on the Discord, post it somewhere else if you want to. Helps out the show. I'm going to take some clips out of this because I've been saying funny things. But yeah, we're going to be playing music in about 15 minutes. I'm going to be on my main channel, which is just Patrick Gnarly. This is Patrick Gnarly and Company, where I talk about music, guitar, streaming, whatever. The main channel is where I actually play music, and I don't have enough time to answer questions. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you guys soon. Here we go. And remember, we're having a crazy show tonight. We're doing Save or Smash on the show. So you better come to the show. I swear. All right. Stay gnarly if I don't see you there. Patrick Gnarly, that's me. Bye.